Hey everyone, welcome back to the Widowed Parent Podcast Live. I'm here this afternoon with Emma Payne from Grief Coach. Emma, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to talking to you. You have a unique and interesting service, and it's a little different from most of the people that I've been interviewing. This month, of course, is Children's Grief Awareness Month, and so I've been interviewing lots of um, people who run grief centers and programs in different communities, which has been great to hear about what they're doing. And you're doing something very different. So tell us, what is Grief Coach?
Yeah, we are delivering grief support via SMS, via text message.
Mm-hmm.
So sending personalized texts, customized based on cause of death, age. So we have a teen series, for example, relationship. So if you've lost a spouse versus a child versus a parent, and we send the messages a couple times a week, all year long. And it's been a really, really interesting. It's been really cool actually seeing how people respond to the texts.
Yeah. Okay, and I just want to clarify. So you said messaging, and so this is it's not an app, it's
On an
actual
app.
texts. Okay, so your regular text messages on your phone.
Nothing to download, nothing to install. You fill your information online and then you start getting text right away, and you can stop and start anytime by texting stop and start.
Aha. Okay. And I think is it a it's a subscription model then?
It's a subscription model. My favorite thing about Grief Coach is that everyone who signs up has the option, all included, to include up to 4 friends and family who want to help and might not be sure how, right? So the friend who is like, I don't know what I can do, you can add them in, and we'll text them all year long as well with date reminders, suggestions, thoughts about how to specifically help you with your loss. People love
Oh.
that. It takes the onus off the griever, which is what we need to do.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's say for example I went in to sign up and I was signing up myself as a widowed person.
Yep.
You're saying I could add up to three, four, four,
Four.
up to 4 of my friends to like to be support people who also receive messages?
Yes, exactly. So we'll help them help you. And
Oh,
that to me is where the magic really
yeah.
happens. So I get messages from people being like, I love the messages you've been sending me, but I really love the ones you're sending my best friend because it's helping her, know how to support me.
Yeah. Okay. That's really clever. That's awesome. Okay, so let's say I'm going in to sign up right now. What kinds of things are you going to ask me?
So we have an online form. You can fill in as much or as little as you like. As long as you give us your name and number, you'll get
Mm,
messages all year long. But if you're comfortable sharing the name of the person who died, your relationship to them, their birthday, their death date, cause of death, then you'll get more and more messages customized based on those things. We asked you what holidays are important. So if you let us know that it's Thanksgiving that's most important to you, or Ramadan or Easter, then you get messages around those dates as
mm,
well. And
mm-hmm.
then invited to add in the friends and family. You don't have to, but usually people take advantage of that piece too.
Yeah, and then special days like the death anniversary, wedding anniversary, maybe the person's
Yeah,
birthday, those kind of things.
the wedding anniversaries, and then we're giving the friends a heads up. Just a reminder that next week would have been Michelle and Jonathan's anniversary, and because the real names are in there and the real dates, I think people are very, very appreciative. The supporters love it because they want to help, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to help each other after death. We're just not sure how. So getting those tips is nice.
Yeah, well, I know it can be hard too to keep track. We're all keeping track of so many things in our calendars these days.
Right.
And like you said, we want to help. I know how great it was when, that first year death anniversary rolled around, for example, and friends texted me, whether it was that day or even the day or the week before, saying, "Hey, I know this is coming up. How you doing?" or whatever.
Yeah.
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 So you're
We do.
helping them.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the first year, we do reminders at 3 months, 6 months, and a year, and then subsequent years, depending when people sign up. Some people sign up really right away after a death. Other people, it's a few years later when they realize they actually do need some extra support and they're looking for more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then as far as the messages, let's say now back to talking about the messages. If I sign up as a grieving person, um, so if I say like my person died by cancer or by suicide or in accident, does that mean you'll send me different types of messages then?
It does. Yep. Not all of them. I mean, there are lots of things that apply to lots of us.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if you've lost your partner to suicide, then absolutely. Though that was my experience. I lost my partner to suicide. So we have we work with an expert contributor at the American Association of Suicide Prevention, and those messages will be particular to that loss.
Mm-hmm.
And with traumatic and sudden losses, of course, maybe some different things at the beginning versus people who've gone through the difficulty of a long illness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah, so the message is customized based on lots of things, including cause of death.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And then how about like if well, most of my listeners are in that age group where they are still parenting children or teenagers who are at home. Is there anything, messaging around that that would be helpful to them?
There is, yep. So we ask, one of the questions in the form when you sign up is if you have children under 21.
Mm.
And if you do, then there's another batch of messages that would apply to you, because we can be making suggestions. Like, for example, we just had Halloween.
Mm.
So there is a bunch of messages that are different for people who are parents and parenting small children at Halloween, and suggestions for friends who want to help. So different messages for people who are parenting younger kids and teenagers.
Ah, and the friends too, right? Because then, right, that is now a friend of somebody who is a grieving person who has children. So
Yeah,
they
so
might get, yeah,
suggestions
messaging.
about, hey, maybe you can help with pumpkin carving because Michelle might not be up for it this year.
Right,
Halloween can be difficult.
right. Whereas someone who doesn't have, if the grieving person doesn't have kids, then you're probably not going to suggest to their friends that they help with pumpkin carving.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That's great. Okay. Uh, let's see. Well, well, I suppose this is an it depends kind of question, but I'll try it anyway. How often do these messages come out?
Well, a minimum is twice a week for a full year.
Mm.
So for each person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the grieving person and their supporters.
Mm.
The more you share, the more additional messages that you will get. If you choose to share birthdays and death anniversaries and so on, then there will be messages for those. So your total number of messages increases. In the first couple of weeks, you do get more than a few a week, because we're just trying to make sure everyone's successfully onboarded and understands the service.
Mm-hmm.
But minimum twice a week for a year.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. And is this one-way texting? Do the people write back at all, or is it all pushing messages out to them?
It's a one-way service that keeps us HIPAA compliant and very much in the support versus therapy
Mm.
camp.
Mm-hmm.
You do have some limited response, and I like this morning I get thumbs up and hearts. People, although it's one way, we still are happy for people to let us know if a message does resonate or doesn't, because it helps us prioritize for other people,
Ah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um. Let me see. I'm sure there's something that it's on the tip of my tongue that I haven't thought to ask. um, well, how? I guess can you give us a few more examples of the types of messages that you send? You mentioned like suggesting that someone help with pumpkins before Halloween, or reminding a friend of a birthday or a special day. But maybe for the grieving person themselves, just give us a few examples of messages they might get from time to time.
Yeah, we have, in the early weeks for the grieving person themselves, we have even things as simple as breathing techniques. If you're having trouble remembering things, that's normal. Here are some things to expect, right? Just really try to get into the weeds on what you and I well know it's like in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have all kinds of threads that change over time. So we have one expert contributor who helps us with mindfulness. What we have messages about with particular tips and resources. So sometimes we're suggesting a TED talk that's specific to loss of a sibling or loss of a partner, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We have some messages that are always popular, like the one that always gets resonance is when we just remind people to talk about their person.
Mm.
Little tips saying, hey, why don't you call, if you find a photo on your phone of your friend's husband who's died, send it over with a funny story. And the same thing to the griever. Find ways to talk about him just as you always would. So some of the tips are very, I think, gentle reminders about what grief is and how to keep people close, and ways to talk about it, and ways to navigate going back to work and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned like sending out a TED talk, or I think when we were talking earlier, you mentioned sending out like a video, a clip of something that's relevant or helpful
Yeah. So we
Um,
have videos, not tons. I mean, I think the beauty of Grief Coach is that it is short and digestible. It's not a textbook, right? It's not committing an hour to it. This is, you're busy, you've got things going on, but someone is following your journey and sending suggestions. So I try not to send long resources.
mm,
We do sometimes recommend a particular book or blog post or podcast that applies to a particular group of our subscribers.
yeah, yeah.
And they're usually, I think that if we keep that to a minimum, the open rates are usually actually very high because they're very targeted. If this is a video specific to loss of a partner and it's 5 minutes long and we're sending it just to people who've lost their partner, then
It's very relevant and
completely relevant and to
yeah,
resonate.
right. And is this service for adults? Can teenagers use it? Like who is it for?
13 and up.
13 and up. Okay.
We hopefully, I mean, generally, yeah, we have a teen program
Huh.
that has sort of even shorter messages and more emojis and focuses more on school than work, things like that.
Yeah.
It's popular because teens like text and it's
Yeah.
private and personal, right? It's not, a lot of people, I think, like the idea that it's just for them. It's coming to their phone. They can stop and start when they want to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
I think that personal private piece is what a lot of people like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we have a teen series and then the adult series. We have, I think, 53 different relationships that apply 3 different ways. So everything from colleague to patient to sister to husband to daughter to grandmother to stepdad. So we're looking at the relationship between the grieving person and the person who's died, the
Mm-hmm.
relationship between the grieving person and their supporter,
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship between the supporter and the person who's died.
Oh.
Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the uncle wants to support his niece, but he's also the brother of the person who.
Right.
So in the back end, all that's happening, but to the subscriber, they're just getting texts.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love
very,
how you
very,
thought through all that. And I was gonna say, I'm glad to hear that you have a teen program or a teen, series of resources because I think one of the things I hear from parents a lot is that, they want to help their teenagers. The teenager has lost their other parent, and maybe they don't know how to help them, or maybe they're trying to suggest they go to a counselor or go to a grief program. And some kids are open to that, and some kids maybe just aren't, or they aren't right now.
yeah, I
Um,
love their teen. The feedback from teens is great. Like there's this one girl, she's 17, her mom died, and she said that she was waiting until, this is before COVID, and she was still going to school every day. So she would wait until after third period because she knew that's when her messages were going to come in. She said, I haven't deleted any of them. I saved them up and they're just for me. And
mhm,
it's complicated feelings when you lose a parent because you are worrying about your surviving parent in ways you may
mhm,
not have before, right? You might
mm,
be trying to even fill the role of the parent that's died. If you're the daughter and the mom died and you're feeling all kinds of things that might be very difficult to talk to the surviving parent about. So I think it gives us a nice way to support the grieving parent, but to also be sending something a little different to the child
yeah.
about their particular experience.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like a terrific resource. I'm glad that you're sharing this with us here. So, just to finish up, can you tell us how can people find Grief Coach and how much does it cost and how do they get signed up and all those kind of details?
Awesome. Thank you for asking. Grief.coach is
Mm,
the website. There, you can sign up there. It takes about 10 minutes to fill the form in. It's $99 for the full year for both the griever and up to 4 of their supporters. So $99 total for all 5 people
includes
to,
the four support people. Hmm.
which I like to say is less than an hour's therapy.
Uh huh.
Lasts a whole year.
True.
And I've also set up a discount for your subscribers. So anyone who uses the code Jenny Lisk, all one word, will get $20 off the subscription.
Terrific. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for doing that, and I'll be sure to put the link and the code in the comments down below, or the whatever you call it, the description field down below the video here, so that people don't have to write that down while they're watching here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great hearing about this resource, and I hope that people will check it out.
Thank you.